This week in Mind Matters, we all have good days and bad days, but when the bad days outnumber the good ones, the sadness could start interfering with your everyday life. And when that happens, it might be time to seek professional help. So joining us now with some much needed answers about depression is Chase Ebarb, a counselor at Brentwood Hospital in Shreveport. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Let's go ahead and define the hard word, depression. It's a little scary, but what is depression?
So depression is intense, sad mood. Typically, when you think about depression, it's intense sadness for 2 weeks minimum. You can see changes in behavior, changes in appetite, changes in quality of sleep, diminished interest, so a loss in your typical hobbies and activities, for instance.
So it's not just being in a daily funk where sometimes you just wake up and no matter what you do to try and get yourself going, you're having an off day, but it's an extended period.
That's correct. So when we think about a major depressive episode, we're looking at that quality of time, that consistent 2-week activity where we're seeing that intense sad mood. You might see anxiety trigger, you might see irritability, issues that aren't common to someone's behavior.
So depression can present in multiple ways in different people. You know, for some people, they may be a little more withdrawn, and then you're saying that some people may lash out a little more aggressively. It really just depends on the person.
Correct. So the way I experience depression may be different from how you experience it. One person can be very isolative, can retreat into themselves, shut off all their close friends and family. Someone else can be very irritable. They may blow up on their family members, blow up on their best friend, blow up on close coworker, their boss, storm out of a job. These are all things that we see very common with depression.
So it's really important to be self-aware and recognize maybe some of those symptoms within yourself, but also looking at somebody around you. If you're recognizing any of these red flags or any of these signs, it may be time to reach out to them and say, hey, what's going on? Just kind of a check-in to make sure that they're okay, and then also checking in with yourself and making sure that you're okay.
Absolutely.
So something to keep in mind is changes in a person's routine. That can often be an indication of depression and a depressive episode.
Yes, so we can often see a person retreating into themselves. Their sleep quality changes. They may sleep too much, they may not sleep at all. Waking up every 15, 20 minutes, every hour, or completely oversleeping their alarm clock. These can be indicators of a depressive episode.
So how do we know when it's time to seek professional help, and how do we go about seeking professional help?
Well, whenever you look at you're feeling fatigued all the time because you're not sleeping well, or you're feeling fatigued because you're sleeping too much, or you're overeating, or you're not eating enough because changes to your appetite have occurred, harming oneself. We look at a lot of factors with self-harm, including people who cut themselves or harm themselves in other ways. If you're experiencing these things, I would strongly encourage you to come into Brentwood Hospital. We have a full staff of clinicians that can complete an intake evaluation on you, determine what's going on, and get you to the right professional who can help provide you direct patient care.
And you never have to be afraid to seek out help.
That's correct. And in the time that we are living in, we're starting to see professional athletes talking out about their mental health. We're starting to see famous actors and musicians. And in my career, I've been doing this for about 16 years now. I have seen a drastic shift in the acceptance of mental health.
And that's so important, and that's why we're so thankful that you're here today, because these are hard topics to talk about, but the more we talk about them, the more accepted they'll become. And
very much so.
Hopefully the more comfortable everyone will become.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Chase, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, if you need any help, never be afraid to seek out and ask for that help. Stay with us. We'll be right back.